Hi, welcome to Things to Consider. When you are going to design a compressed air system from scratch, you have to look at everything. And what I mean by everything is that it's not just looking at the compressor in the compressor room, it's not just the piping layout, but it's everything that's involved in the system, which also includes filtration, the end use, and the location of all the end use equipment. There's a lot of literature available on the internet, and that's written on designing a compressor and the compressor room. And it's obviously very important because that's where all the energy comes from. And of course, there's a lot of non-piping systems as well, how to design drop downs, how to lay them out, how to size them, and so on. And that's good. But sometimes not enough focus is put on the end use. What they'll do is they'll design a system saying this machine maybe needs this much air, this much air, this much air, but it's not looked in really any detail. How efficient is the end use of the compressed air? How efficient is the machine used in the end use? How efficient is the tooling? And also the type of filtration that's available. For example, today we have new types of filters on the market. One is called the XPEL filter, which is an ISO 12500 tested system that removes 99.999% oil, water, and particulate down to 1 micron. Now, that kind of system, which requires no replaceable membranes, might be something to consider in some areas in a newly designed system, because you're going to eliminate the need to have filters that may require a lot of maintenance. So this type of technology is something to look at. There's all types of new technologies coming out in the market today. The same thing with the end use, more efficient air tools, specially designed machines that have reduced their energy, more efficient dryers that are certainly talked about when you're designing a compressor room. So why not in the end use? If compressed air is used for blow-off, used for cooling applications, in some places you need to use compressed air because blowers may not be adequate, then you're going to want to consider the use of compressed air nozzles that are efficient. Air nice, for example, air amplification technology that's available. And where are all these end pieces being used? What area in the factory location are you going to be in? That's going to be important because that's going to affect where you're going to want to have storage along the way for the compressed air. It's going to affect the routing of the piping and the size of the piping, and also your compressor choices, because different types of compressor operations are now available. You've got variable frequency drive compressors. You've got all types of new types of systems on the market that fit for certain types of operations and certain types of applications. So really, rather than just focusing on the compressor and the piping system, a lot more focus and study should be done on what's available and what can be done at the end use, and also for filtration. And very serious considerations should be placed on the location of the compressed air operated equipment. So rather than design a system focusing on the first two, maybe the focus should be a little bit more on the last three. So it's not just compressor and compressor room, piping system, it's also filtration, the end use, and the location of the end use for the compressed air. Those are the things to consider. If you have any questions concerning the use of compressed air and compressed air systems, Next Flow Air Products Corp can certainly help.